Eventually, self-improvement becomes a trap. You get into it, and the more you get into it, the more you keep going and going and going. It never ends. So you get lost in it. You get to the point where you no longer know what you're trying to improve, but you're just improving for improving sake. Like being a very introverted person. Basically, like I live life from my inner world. So I take experiences, I take things, but I judge them on how my inner world or how the lens of my inner world is. I had a lot of questions at a young age. So many things weren't making sense to me, and there was nobody to like explain some things to me. I wanted to know why there were issues like abandonment, pain, longing, why you wanted something so bad but you couldn't get it, why people have to, separate, why family have to fight, why people that love themselves so much end up like creating the biggest mess. So I dive into philosophy, religion, history, books, psychology. I just wanted to understand the human condition, like why are we here in the first place? And then it got to the point where I understood that, okay, these things I was feeling, maybe the only way I could make sense of it was to get better at handling my emotions. I just was a sensitive person. I would take in so much. I could read every subtle shift. And then being told, you are too sensitive, you are too emotional. For a long time, I wanted to not be that sensitive. I was made to feel like being a sensitive person it meant being weak. Everybody just labeled on you, but my sensitivity made me understood people. It made me care. It made me become that place where I could sit with pain, I could sit with sadness, I could hold emotions that a lot of people were running away from. Instead of like shutting myself up, I became more open. And in becoming more open, I had this deep empathy towards people and just the world entirely. So at a point, I wanted to not be that person anymore because it got too much. I lost myself, and somehow I think I still do. When I'm with someone for a while or when I'm with people for a long time, I get to take on their emotions or their emotional needs and try to like fix things even before they get broken. So it makes me anxious and all of that. So this anxiety comes from wanting everything to go a certain way. So in essence, all I'm trying to say is you have to understand that there's nothing wrong with you. You're perfect the way you are. You don't have to change so much. You only have to become who you have always been inside. You don't have to explain so much. You don't have to care for how other people feel. You don't have to take on the emotions of other people. It's not your job to make people feel better. It's not your job to make people feel comfortable in your space. It's your job to feel comfortable in being the person you are, being comfortable in your own skin. So it's about becoming your own self. And when you become your own self, you're able to like bring that inner genius, that inner story that's trying to unfold in your life. So oftentimes for that story to unfold, we go through a lot of experiences, sometimes traumatic. It often doesn't necessarily have to be traumatic, but in most cases, they end up being traumatic in a way. But this trauma isn't meant to break you, it's meant to create an awareness. You become aware that, oh, there's certain force or there's a certain energy like this going on. So when you become aware, you're able to understand that and you're able to transcend it. So our traumas are not here to destroy us. They're actually orienting our souls, our awareness in a certain way. So if you have trauma that made you a sensitive person, you are sensitive to certain energies, do not limit yourself or do not run away from those things. Rather, you open up and you try to understand why. And when you understand, you're able to like use this trauma. This trauma becomes your way of being. It's just about being your own self, finding a way of being in your own self and enjoying who you are, loving your process. I'm not saying it's easy or anything like that. All I'm saying is it's your job to become you.